demo today, we're going to take a look at Cleo's integration to Business Central. So where we're going to start is here inside the Cleo CIC dashboard. Specifically, what we're looking at is kind of a snapshot of some of the basic transactions I have in my demo environment right now for order to cash. What you'll notice right away is with Cleo Cockpit, I'm not looking at anything technical. So as a non-technical person, I can see incoming orders, outgoing order confirmations, shipping details, invoices, etc. So depending on which transactions we're processing for you, you would see those transactions in a nice human readable version, not that EDI speak, three digit code or something like that. So when I come in here, let's say I want to go take a look at my orders that I'm receiving from my partners. If I select my orders here on the screen, I'm going to see all the different incoming orders from all my different partners. In my demo environment, I've just got the single partner, but in your environment, you would see all of your various partners. What you'll notice is you're going to see obvious things like the obviously the transaction identifier, the transaction reference, right? So if you've got an order number, it's going to show the order number from the incoming document. It'll show who the partner is, the date and time that transaction was received. And if it is EDI coming inbound, you'll see, the reference that it's an EDI document. Opposite corner will show you the acknowledgement status. So in the world of EDI, we've got kind of a handshake that confirms receipt of a transaction. So in my case, I haven't confirmed receipt for these, but typically what you'll see is a checkbox, a green checkbox that'll show that we did in fact send the accepted or acknowledged receipt of the document. Same for inbound documents. You'll have confirmation from your partner that shows either they received it or they acknowledged it late or they acknowledged it but they had issues with it, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a key thing, and we could talk about that in a different session. The last thing I want to point out is this tile can contain information from the transaction itself. So if I wanted to understand better at a glance that this order contained, a dozen line items and the total amount of the order was, $2,500 or whatever it is, I could drop that here. Whatever you want to display in these tiles is up to you. You just make sure that when we set up an implementation, your environment, we understand what those pieces of data are that you're interested in seeing. Now, let's say I use my filters over here on the left to find, the partner order that I'm looking for. I do have the ability to search any of this content in this tile. So I could search for down here, demo 10. So that's the order I'm interested in. When I select that transaction, it's going to kind of zoom me in from a thumbnail view to more of a full view. Now, this view here, you can see there's a little more information. This could actually be as much detail as you want. Again, kind of like small tile. So we aren't limited by the real estate on the screen. This could scroll up and down and side to side. It's up to you what's going to display here. But now I can see more information about this order. If I want to see what that order looked like when it came in, so that actual raw transaction, EDI, I could see that here. If I want to see, in this case, because we did push it to Business Central, if I wanted to see what we pushed to BC, I can look at here at the translated message, and this will show me the payload that was sent to the API when we communicated to BC. So I have the ability to kind of look at the before and after. Now, the other thing that might have caught your eye, it definitely is a little bit different than most of the solutions out there in that we're going to show you everything about this transaction. So in this case, this this transaction life cycle is completed, I can see the order came in. I can see we've acknowledged it. I can see we sent shipping details, and I can see that we've invoiced it. As I look at this chronological life cycle of all the correlating transactions, I can also select those transactions. So as if I started from the dashboard looking at ship notices, I can land on the full screen of the shipment details. So if I want to see what was sent in return for this order and look at the specific shipping details, maybe it's a couple of different, ship notices, a couple different shipments that went out. I can see that information here. And again, I can look at the content we pulled from BC, that raw data, and I can compare that with the transaction that we sent out. So here's the, raw EDI 856 that we sent. So that's kind of what this looks like, from an overall perspective. What I want to do is come back and we're going to take a look at the process all the way through and kind of how this looks inside of BC as well. So in this case, I've got a new order, demo 17. My partner sent this in, and in this case, I've actually already sent this over to BC. So on the Cockpit screen here, I can actually see that we received this data from our partner. We did the transformation successfully, and we sent it to BC successfully. And the way we do that is an API connection into BC. So if I hop over to my Business Central environment and I go to my sales orders, and I come in here and I'm just going to look for, say, demo. I'm going to find that demo 17 order. What I'll see when this opens up is, all the order detail from that EDI transaction. We can see that this is an open order right now. We haven't done anything with it yet. And then what you'll see is, when we spin up our extension for Business Central, you've got a Cleo status here. So a couple of Cleo fields. In particular, we're going to be watching this status field. What this is going to do is it's going to help me understand, have I acknowledged this transaction out to my partner? In other words, once I release this order, and I need to send that order confirmation to my partner. Once my partner gets that confirmation, we'll see that the status here changes from pending to completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send that transaction out to my partner, and then we're going to come back and look at this status here, switch from pending to completed. So that process in the background typically runs on a schedule. I triggered it manually, and what that does is it goes to Business Central with the API, queries for open orders that have been released, but have not had the confirmation sent to the partner yet. So what we see is, in this case, we found that order, and we generated the outbound acknowledgement here. So if I select that outbound acknowledgement, I can see the acknowledgement was pulled. I can see details from the order, again, whatever it is you want to see. Visually down here, I can see, we connected to Business Central. We did, in fact, get data. We transformed the data. And in this case, we delivered it to our partner. This is going to a CIC mailbox that the partner can come collect data from via FTP. Again, I can view that order acknowledgement. I can see the data we pulled from Business Central. And if I compare it here to the translated message, I can see that raw 855 EDI data if I want to look at the technical. Now, if I take this and I go over to Business Central and I refresh this view. So I'm going to just go back. And I'm going to come back into this order 17. Now we can see that this Cleo status for this transaction is showing complete. Again, what this means is I don't have to go into the Cleo Cockpit dashboard to make sure my partner got the data. If I'm a non-technical person, I own this partner relationship, and I just want to see, did they get it? Right here in this screen, I can see that information. So now we've confirmed the document to our partner. We want to go ahead and start, fulfilling this order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this, and I'm going to create the shipment only. So it generated 2537. It's going to finish that up. And so now we're going to need to send this shipment to our partner. So now if I come out of here and I go to my posted sales shipments, for 2537, I think that's what that was. Now, well, actually, this isn't that one. So that order was actually 2566. Not sure what I was looking at before. I apologize. So if we look at shipment 2566, I can see my reference here to order number 17. And again, inside the shipment detail, what I see here is the Cleo status is showing that it's pending. So again, what this means is we need to, from the Cleo engine, pull this shipment detail, this particular shipment, for this particular shipment, send it to the partner, and then once that delivery to the partner has been confirmed, we'll see this status change from pending. So I'm going to back out of here, and I'm going to go back into the cockpit, and I'm going to run that process momentarily to pull the shipment detail. Okay, so now that process has completed, let's go ahead and refresh the cockpit view. And now we can see we've got the ship notice that we pulled from BC. So if I take a look at this, again, I've got my ship notice detail. I can view the raw data. I can view the translated output for that 856. And down here, I can see where we connected to BC. We pulled the information, we translated it, we delivered it to the partner. If I wanted to look at this step, I'll just show you this real quick. If I wanted to look at this step where we're integrating with Business Central, I can come down into the session log, and I can actually see the request response information moving, back and forth between the Cleo engine and the Business Central application. So I wanted to give you a peek at that as well. Now, if I go back to Business Central and I find the correct shipment this time, 2566, and I open that up, now we can see that the Cleo status has changed to completed. So we're good on that. We know that it got delivered to the partner, again, without having to go to the Cleo dashboard. I love the dashboard, but I don't need to go there. So now for the last step, let's go back out. Let's go to our sales orders. find that particular order again. And let's go ahead and create the invoice. So I'm going to post the invoice this time. At 3,500. So again, here we've got the invoice detail, but if I come down here to the Cleo status, I can see that we're pending. So this hasn't been collected by Cleo engine and sent and translated and sent to the partner yet. So we're going to see a pending status here. So I'm going to go launch that process. That's going to collect that from Business Central, do the translation, and then we're going to come back into the cockpit here and just check the correlations and transactions. Okay, so that process is completed. That goes to BC to pull the invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this screen. So I refreshed my view here for that order 17. And now we can see we've got the order confirmation, ship notice, and the invoice. So the invoice is showing up here. Here we can see we pulled that successfully from Business Central. We transformed it and we sent it to our partners successfully. If we want to view the raw data, we can do that. So here's the data we pulled from Business Central. I can take that. I can compare it with the 810 EDI document raw data that was generated and sent to the partner. And if I come over here into our invoice, just go back out, come back in again. Let's go to sales, posted sales invoices. $100. So now if we look at this invoice, we can see that our status has changed to completed. So again, without having to go into the Cleo dashboard, you can go there if you want to, but if you're a non-technical person, less user interfaces are better. I prefer to stay inside of my business system. And again, here, Cleo status shows that we did successfully send this to our partner. So without having to really do a whole lot inside of the Cleo dashboard, I can, with each transaction update to my partner, I can see, that we successfully processed and sent the transaction to my partner. So that completes the Business Central demo. This is really a cursory high-level demo. If you wanted to get more detail, we would be happy to jump on a session and dive in even deeper as needed.